All right, so we're back, right? Week 2. This is the psychonutrition space that's going to support what we're working on this week, right? Again, this is progressive. So in this week's group, we talked about something that most people skip, right? And that's that emotional stability. And today, what I want to do is I want to show you one of the quiet physiological reasons that stability feels so hard to maintain. Okay, not because you're doing something wrong, okay, but because your system may be running in a stress rhythm that you're that you didn't really sign up for. Okay, a lot of times, we don't choose, and if we had the opportunity to choose, we would choose differently. Correct? Like, oh, why do I feel this way? I don't want to feel this way, etc. So, um, we're gonna kind of look at how we can how we can do that, right? So we're gonna talk about cortisol, okay, and we're going to talk about not fixing it, um, because it's I don't want you to think, oh, okay, I'm going to fix this, and we're going to get some supplements and routines and create some perfect habits around it, because that's not where we are. That's not where we are in the process. Right now, it's all about understanding your rhythm, and so how hydration plays a bigger role in that is probably bigger than what you realize. So I know that, oh God, it's all the hype out there, right? Like, me, I don't spend a lot of time on social media, and so when I do, and I see things getting slapped out there as hype, it's fine, because cool, at least it's got bringing awareness to people's brains. But so cortisol right now is definitely out there as the big villain, but it's really not what the problem is. Dysregulated cortisol is really what the problem is. Okay, there's a difference, because cortisol is our body's activation hormone, right? So it helps us wake up, it helps us focus, it helps us respond, and it helps us mobilize energy. But where it becomes an issue, well, let's just say this, right? Like, problems arise when cortisol stays elevated too long, okay? Or if the cortisol spikes at the wrong time, or it crashes unpredictably, right? That's when people are experiencing things like wired but tired energy, difficulty focusing, irritability or emotional sharpness, trouble winding down, and inconsistent follow through. Again, this isn't a motivation issue. It's a knowing our rhythm issue. Yeah. So if you're asking yourself, as we are in our work in this group, right? If we're asking ourselves to be consistent while your system is already overstimulated, right? Like, that's not discipline. That's self-override. Meaning, we're going to just override ourselves, ignore, right? Like, override whatever it's trying to tell me. Put that over here. And so we chalk that up as to being disciplined. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to push through. I'm going to dig my heels in, and whatever it is, right? Put my head down and just go for it. And so we're overriding a lot of times. So what's happening here, and I'm going to keep this be super simple and respectful of your intelligence. what we need to, see that is happening is that cortisol is going to follow a natural daily rhythm. So ideally, what we want it to be doing is rising in the morning to help you engage with the day and gradually lower so that your system can recover, right? That wired and tired late in the day, or the hard time winding down, like, oh, it takes me 3 hours to go to sleep. Yeah. So what we have to look at then is where our life is disrupting this. And so we have to take a look at that chronic stress, the rushing, underfueling, dehydration, and constant stimulation that is confusing the natural rhythm. So the body doesn't know when to turn on or turn off efficiently. Now, hydration matters here more than you probably expect. I know that I've always looked at hydration as being, extremely important and something that, was important. But when I learned how and why hydration affects our emotional regulation, I was like, "Whoo, wow, this is interesting." So I want you to understand, right? And again, we're just learning some things here, okay? But I want you to understand that, even just a little mild dehydration is going to increase perceived stress. Okay, it narrows your tolerance window and it can exaggerate your emotional responses. Now, when hydration is inconsistent, your cortisol compensation is going to increase, which means that the body uses that stress chemistry to make up the difference. Okay, so I want to simplify this a little bit more, and I want you to understand, right? Like what we're doing here is simplifying so that we're not layering in all of these new routines and perfectionism and etc. So I'm going to give you 3 gentle stabilizers. Okay, so number 1, morning hydration before stimulation. Okay, for those of you who've been around for a while, we've already started talking about this, but before your morning caffeine, before you look at a screen, or before you do any kind of problem solving, hydration gives your system a signal of safety, right? It reduces the need for stress chemistry to get you moving. So whatever you have to do to have the most important thing next to you, I don't know, I put it right on the nightstand. So I have a designated bottle of water for the morning. I might have one that's, that I drink throughout the night or before I go to sleep, but there's a designated one there for the morning. So that when I wake up, right, like I'm having my designated amount of hydration. So number 2, consistent intake over reactive intake. So if we go large gaps followed by a large amount, right, that's going to create spikes. So smaller, more consistent intake is going to support rhythm. Okay, so kind of like food, right? When we were talking about don't, big gaps, maybe, right? Keep that fuel going. Same with hydration, right? That's the rhythm that you create is going to support regulation. So whatever you need to do to have, right, some hydration at your disposal. And then number 3, pair your hydration with grounding. Now, this is just reminding you to slow down, right? To do things with intention and purpose. Drinking while you're rushing doesn't have the same effect. So when your hydration gets paired with, we'll call it just a pause, right? Like just pause, take a breath, take some water, put it down. 10 seconds, man. Your nervous system is going to respond so much differently. So that's an observation point for you, right? Like, so I want to be clear, right? For all of you folks out there that already, drink your necessary amount of water or electrolytes, etc. Hopefully, your sweet spot. Because yes, we can drink too much water for our body, right? So it's not about drinking more. It's about drinking earlier, drinking steadier, and drinking with awareness. Yeah. So when your cortisol rhythms improve, something subtle is going to shift, right? Like, so your baseline, right? Like your regular operating baseline emotionally is going to feel steadier. Your reactivity, your reactions are going to soften. And they're not going to go away, but they're going to soften. And so your ability to return to your center is going to improve, right? Emotional agility, right? That's stability. So consistency, my friend, as we know, isn't created by sheer willpower alone. That consistency is created when your system doesn't feel like it's constantly catching up. So this week, I'm going to push pause because Augie is barking. So this week, I want you to notice, right? When do I feel wired? I want you to notice when do you crash, right? So ask yourself, oh, when do I crash? And is hydration present before stress escalates? Right? I don't want you to do correcting. I want you to do noticing. Okay. So notice, when do I feel wired? When do I crash? And is hydration present before stress escalates? And then, right, like, I just want you to know, okay, your body is not resisting consistency. It's asking for rhythm. And that rhythm is going to create some more emotional stability to create that stability. And so when we restore rhythm, that consistency becomes possible, right? Like it just becomes possible. And that, my friend, is that precision that we're looking for. No pressure, right? No pressure, precision. Anyway, I'll see you next week.